like Alan's done this before.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 184, where a podcast talks about pop culture, things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined, as always, by Andrea. How's it going?
Good. Tonight's full of surprises, starting off with a bang.
Yeah, as for the viewers, for those watching, you can see we got two additional guests, Mike and Pete. How's it going? The two of you.
Fantastic. Thanks for asking, John.
Mm-hmm.
Doing good.
So Mike is back. He's been kind of going through these with us through the weeks. And Pete, we only wanted to put him through the pain of this one time as we talk about the finale of Daredevil Born Again, the Disney Plus series. So that'll be our main topic of discussion later on. But before we get there, Andrea, there's something. What?
I just want to clarify it's the season finale for anybody who's wondering.
Yes.
Like there will be a season 2.
Correct. They're in production or filming.
You did say the finale, so it could be like, sudden shock, season 2 not happening.
That's true. Season 1 finale. But before we get there, we'll have we got to catch up on our weeks, see especially what Pete's been up to since we've talked last. And we'll kick things off with our drink holidays.
Yeah, just a few, short and sweet. We have April 9th, Gin and Tonic Day, a classic I couldn't resist. Cheers to everyone.
Nice. Cheers.
And then April 17th was International Malbec Day. If you're a red wine drinker, cheers to you. And then special shout out to April 19th because that is my mom's birthday. But unfortunately, it's a celebration of a liqueur that she would never drink. God love her. She's a lightweight. And even though this isn't the strongest liqueur, it was Amaretto Day. My mom still would not. She is a white wine or a wine spritzer kind of gal.
Okay.
And, there's not really a whole other universe of alcohols for her.
White wine is like, any wine will put you back. You start drinking,
Oh, true. I'm not saying my mom hasn't, been a little sauced from time to time. Sorry, Ma. But it's been on like white wine or like a wine cooler, like a classic Bartles and James.
Very good.
Kind of scenario.
Yeah. Pete, I know sometimes you bring a special vessel that your beverage is in. Do you have anything this evening?
I'm feeling a little.
He's got many to choose from.
Have we talked about the Rowdy Piper soda? The all out of bubblegum?
No, I don't think so.
I got to tell you, it kicks ass, and he's a lot of bubblegum.
Very good. Excellent. Mike, are you back with another Mountain Dew?
Like this one?
Mountain Dew. All right, which flavor is this one now?
We're going watermelon with this one.
Okay.
Isn't that the one you said was like the okay one?
Yeah. Livewire is the best one. That's the orange one. But I drank all those.
Oh,
okay. Love it.
Okay, so it started off with a pretty poor review with the basic one. Have you heard of these? The spiked Mountain Dews?
God. Hopefully we're not talking about the same thing, because it was like a Mountain Dew Zero with awful vodka. It was just. I was with a bunch of friends, doing the game night thing, and a younger friend came in with like a 12-pack. He's like, I know you love Mountain Dew, man. This is going to be great. And I choked one down. He's like, you're crazy. Me and my softball team, we can chug these down. I'm like, you are young. When I was your age, I thought Absolute and Mountain Dew was amazing. I just didn't know any better. So
that's 100% what this is, because I don't drink real alcohol. And Yeah, listen, it's bad. It's not a good drink by any means, but I have a 12 case of it now.
Right.
So.
Mike is nothing if not determined, and we are nothing if not persistently goading.
And thanks to this order, this spur of the moment order, you are now able to get your driver's license renewed, because who knows how long that would have not been valid without.
So, I kid you not, like a day and a half later, I got pulled over for having an expired driver's license.
No.
Yep, that's serious. He's like, "Do you know?"
Oh my God.
I was like, "No, of course not."
How do you know?
In my defense, like I looked at the date. That license has only been valid for a year. I have no idea why it's already expired. Like it got issued at the end of 2023, and it's already expired. So that's weird.
Is it because you have to switch to like real ID now?
Oh,
because it is a real ID.
Oh, then okay, then I'm tapped out. That was my only guess.
That would have been my guess too. Yeah.
Oh, did you? I was gonna say maybe you aged out. I don't know.
Not well. Hit 35. I don't know. You gotta get a new one. But I don't know.
Maybe.
Either way, it was weird. And also my tabs were expired. So he pulls me over and he's like, "Hey, just as a heads up, you got to get this taken care of." He's like, I'm going to let you go. Okay. So I get down the road, I get onto the highway, and the cop with flashing lights is behind me again. And I almost just like kept going because like this guy just pulled me over. He can't pull me over again. Sure enough, he's pulling me over and he's like, "Listen, 16 years I've been on the force. This has never happened before, but also your tabs are expired. And so you got to get that resolved as well." I'm like, "All right. Well, thank you for 2 warnings. I'm trying to get to work now."
It's like, I just want to tell you, you're an illegal human right now. You're not you're not a valid person. All the things are expired.
At least he wasn't a dick about it.
Right,
really could have been like, strike 2, can't let you go this time.
Yep.
He did. He's like, "Do you at least have valid insurance?"
That would have been the third one. Yeah.
Like a triple crown of expired shit. Like,
someone to check my license now.
Oh my God. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that. Yay for so here's to not getting a ticket, and
cheers
to Andrea's mom, because this is amaretto sour.
Oh, cute. I love that. How is it, John?
Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Not something I order often or whatever, or have made, but very good. So, okay. Hopefully we've been into some things that are very good when it comes to other shows and movies and stuff like that. So we'll go around the horn and see what we've been watching. But with Pete and Mike, I want you to take the time up top to promote your stuff. So before
stuff.
Yeah. So we'll if you need a second, we'll start with Mike. What else have you been watching? And tell everybody about your channel.
So up top is the YouTube and Instagram, which is at track_mouse 34 on YouTube, and just track mouse on Instagram. New season of racing is kicking off at the beginning of May here, so that's going to have some new content up and added. Did a walk around of the car recently just because I had a YouTube comment that I didn't check for 6 months asking me to do one. So that's how that turned out. And May 8th, we'll be down in Atlanta for Road Atlanta, which is a bucket list track of ours.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be amazing. The professional drifting is going to be there same weekend. So we're sharing the track. So that's going to be cool. Yep. That'll be live streamed on the Grid Life YouTube page. So that'll be really, really cool.
What day is that?
May 8th through the 10th.
Okay, thank you.
That weekend. You got it. So that'll be cool. And other than that, what we've been watching is The Penguin. Actually, started that recently, so I'm way behind.
Yeah.
But yes, very much enjoying that. I think Rachel's watching that right now, so I'm missing out.
Mm. Oh man,
Sacrifices I make for you guys.
yeah.
Oh, we appreciate it. Why don't you sip your Mountain Dew?
Oh, you got it. You got it.
As long as we're
What-
talking about sacrifices.
What's my next task?
Yeah, oh, awesome. Well, you've got our podcast to follow along with when as you watch that. We've talked about the Penguin.
Yeah, I should go back. I don't want spoilers,
Yeah.
but when
Yeah,
I'm
I
done,
know.
I'll go. So
Be interested to hear your thoughts. Very good. Pete, you been watching anything else? And tell us about your writings.
I will start with what I had published most recently was a serial from e-magazine called Sci-Fi Sats, and this is back last year. I did a 9-part series for them
Ooh.
and was nominated for Story of the Year. And I got honorable mention, which means out of the 12 winners, I think I got like the top 3,
Yay.
maybe top 4, but we'll
Nice.
say top 3. It sounds better. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. Got to work with a couple of great editors, and had a lot of fun. So haven't had that serial deadline for a while, and so that was nice to get back into the habit of doing that. As for shows, Last of Us season 2. My daughter, my middle kid, a couple of weeks ago, she's 12. And I walked into the living room, and there she is watching Train to Busan without me. And like, number one, why are you watching this R-rated zombie show on a Saturday afternoon without asking for permission? And number two, what the heck are you doing watching it without me? And if you're into zombie stuff, I'm your guy, right? You know this. You got one of my books. So I said, if you want to see a real zombie show, you got to see The Last of Us. And so we binged watched that over like a 3-day weekend. And then she found out that season 2 was coming up. And I'm like, oh, I didn't finish that game. I was so upset. And so we started season 2 and we got to the part that made me upset. And then she went upstairs and yelled at my wife. So she was so upset about the big plot twist. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not
So-
alone in that. That's controversial.
I think you told, no, it was Ashley who told me when I was like, yeah, I'm really liking The Last of Us, the game. I'm excited for number 2. And she's like, oh, you haven't heard. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you want me to tell me? I'm like, no, don't tell me. And I don't know if it would have been better if she had or not, but
Okay. Yeah. Well, their goal is to make you feel something, and people definitely did. So,
feel like
One way or
walking
another.
away. That's what they feel like doing.
yeah.
Walking
Okay.
Dead tried that too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of viewers.
If you want your
Oh,
kids to have bloodlust, this is the show.
Okay. So,
I
is
don't.
there? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't need to encourage my kid, my oldest. She's
for violence.
seriously, she like identifies with all the Disney villains, thinks they're the coolest. We're watching like a bunch of nature
Nice.
shows, and she's just like into the sharks when they attack. Or we watched some like dinosaur themed, nature show, and she was like into these terror birds with their like hatchet beaks as they kill stuff, and she's like, ah, I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna
She
have so
sounds
much
like your
trouble.
daughter.
She really, she really does. You know what? The other day, I almost cried because she said to me, "Mommy, I just want it to be Halloween now," and I went,
Wow.
Me too.
Awesome.
Yeah,
She's like, this Easter candy's okay.
Yeah.
right. Halloween's where it's at, but yeah,
Yeah.
yep. She's
costume.
she's really becoming a mini me,
Cool. Nice.
For better
Well,
or
is-
worse.
for better or worse. Yeah, TBD. Stay tuned.
When my wife calls my oldest Pete Jr., she doesn't always mean it as a compliment.
So, is there any
Mm.
crossover here? Like Pete, have you watched Penguin, and Mike,
Oh,
have you
yeah.
watched Last of Us?
Yeah, Penguin was excellent. The finale, still mad, but I get it. Villain's got a villain. So
Okay. All right.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you've avoided the spoilers. It's great.
Yes.
And
Yeah, that was a great
I don't know how.
great vague statement, even though I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yep.
And I'm mad too.
I have watched Last of Us. I like season 1 a lot. I have
Same.
intentionally avoided season 2 because I know what happens, and I'm like, you know what? I like
Okay.
season 1. It ended at season 1. I'm happy with that.
Yep. Yeah, happily ever after.
Okay.
So
does it feel like it could be just a contained season 1 and done? Like it ends?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was
I would
so
say so.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Because
Like the
sometimes it's like
game.
it begs to have more. It must,
No.
cliffhanger, all this sort of thing.
No, you clearly could tell there's more. Do you know what I mean? But it wraps up in a place where you would feel satisfied as a viewer.
Okay.
Like
the overall story is spot on. Just fantastic.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It is probably the closest thing to source material that I've watched in recent times anyways. And so, I do feel like I should give them the viewership for that, because we always talk about, wanting to I want people to respect the source material, right? And I hate it when they don't. So I feel like I should watch it for that regard. But damn it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe minds change, maybe it's not. Like I always think of Promised Neverland, the anime. I watched both seasons. I didn't know what to expect of season 2, but I watched both seasons, and I just pretend season 2 doesn't happen. I'm perfectly content with that. Like if I was to buy it, I buy season 1. That's it. And it's a masterpiece.
What if it came in a 2-pack? Would you throw the second disc away?
It'd be a coaster. I do use discs as coasters. So. Yeah.
I'm surprised you let it into your dojo.
I'm sure there's a season 1 available somewhere, but yeah.
I completely forgot that there was a season 2 that's out now. I mean, I felt like the promo was very intense but brief, and I already forgot. But speaking as someone who doesn't know the Last of Us storyline, I am going to watch season 2, and we'll see how I feel as like a fresh set of eyes on whatever this thing is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I thoroughly enjoyed season 1. Again, knowing very, very basic, premise of that. So
Last of Us is a really interesting thing that it's odd that I have not been a consumer of, because I've played quite a few Naughty Dog games, and I was really in the heat of playing the Uncharted games and loving that when the first Last of Us came out. I think it's my my growing appreciation for horror games. It didn't, when that first came out, not so much. So just kind of passed over it and then never jumped back on board. And so just never involved myself with any of that, really.
Did you ever play Days Gone?
I played a little bit of that. It was, which it was cool. The bit I played,
a zombie,
a couple hours.
Shoot 'em up, beat 'em up. Very well done for what it is. And then you just look at the overall story arc between the two games, and you realize why they made a series of The Last of Us. It's just a better story.
Yeah, I think everybody would agree. Typically, the story is better in Last of Us. Days Gone is really the gameplay. There's a little. I think it's more free roaming. It's more dynamic, and it's about having like hordes of zombies that you might manipulate to take out different places and whatever. Just different mechanics. Whereas Last of Us is designed to be a linear. That is what it's about. Storytelling medium. And I know they try to open up a little bit in places in the second one, but then a lot of people complain about that. It's like extra things just for the sake of extra things, whereas we had this tight storyline before.
Sure.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, Andrea, let us know what your fresh eyes think. And Andrew, what else have you been watching other than Last of Us back when that came out.
and the nature shows and Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much. Kind of a couple of random collection of things. I do want to say I watched The Masters over Chris's birthday, both as a gift to him, but also because I was super excited to see Rory McIlroy win. That's been a long time coming, and that was one of those like get you in the feels stories. So yeah, so I was excited to watch that. That was a big marathon of golf viewing, and feel like I can put a check on that box till next year.
Hey, that was you got to see something, somewhat historic, and he almost choked it
Yeah,
too. So
he really did. I was so
that was
so
the second
pissed.
time.
I was so pissed. Oh, and it was worse too because Chris got like a little ping on his phone from ESPN while we were watching because he was like just a bit behind. He was like, "Oh, I bet that's them pinging. I bet Rory won." And then he totally like
Dicks.
botched it and tied. And I was like, "You set me up. I'm so pissed right now." Because I was just like expecting the win. So then they had to go to like the shootout, and I was like just prolonging this like horrible anxiety that he was gonna throw it all away. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's
I am not.
too high anxiety for like such a serene sport. Like it was, oh God.
Golf is one of the sports I'm not into, and I'm in this text group with some friends of mine from high school, and they're just talking about the Masters, and I could give a rip. So then I go, but aren't you paying attention to the WNBA draft, which is going on right now? So they talk about this shot and that shot. I'm like, how did the leagues trade away their pick? What is happening now? The day is ruined.
That's good.
I think it's funny how we can get involved or invested in something that you don't really care about. Like if you're not super interested in the golf, but like if you sit and pay attention to it, you can get involved in the human drama of it. And I think that a lot of people that way, no matter what sport it is, if you choose to like pay attention, you can have that moment of real life.
My wife brought up the drama too. She's like, "Oh, how about the Masters?" I'm like, and she doesn't watch a lick of golf. And I'm like, I could care about the Masters. She's like, "Will you just?" And then she tried to break it down for me, like, "Hey, and this happened. How could you not care about this?" And his backstory and his wife and his kids. And I don't know where she got all this background information. I go, I was watching the WNBA draft. I'm like, oh, okay, because she's a huge WNBA fan. So. You can't be mad at me.
Yeah, it is remarkable how quickly you can like pick stuff up on like a very intense short notice. Like,
right.
Just that in depth of like 4 days of watching golf, and I was just like dropping stuff or like, well, he's gonna hit that chip shot, or like, oh, just crap that like 2 weeks from now I will be like, what's golf? 18 holes? Is that it?
That's the one.
But it was really fun to be like that invested. And yeah, like I said, Chris was having a ball over his birthday, so that was kind of a fun thing to do.
Nice.
Yeah. Other things that I have watched. I watched a show on Netflix called The English Game, which is basically about the sport of soccer and how it was revolutionized by some Scottish players who kind of took it from a gentleman's game to a game of the masses. So that's been kind of fun. There's only 6 episodes, so it's been like a quick flyby kind of thing.
Sure.
And then Chris and I started Andor because season 2
started.
Yeah, I know, right? We're so behind in the like Star Wars universe, and we watched wildly disparate things from each other. So we were trying to like get back on the same page before diving into season 2, which is still coming out, right? Tonight. Okay. Oh man. But
tonight is it one of those? It comes out at 8:00 at night. I hate it when they do that.
I presume so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I presume so.
Same thing with Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm ready to watch it now at 5:00 before kids got dance and all these other things. Like, no, you revolve your schedule around me, or we will ruin you with spoilers. I'm like, Disney Plus.
It is like a vague sense of, like primetime television.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
It's a
Eventizes
vague
it.
echo. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that was
Echo.
that
Is
was
that
a
a Daredevil
slide.
pun?
I know.
Yes.
That was so open. I didn't even mean it. uh, but yeah, so finally starting Andor, so we can get to that. We'll let you know what I think about that. And then something I'm excited to watch tomorrow. We just got tickets to go see Sinners, which I've heard
Oh, okay.
amazing things about. So I'm really excited.
Nice.
So
Mike,
jealous.
I feel like you've seen it, or
I
you're just
haven't.
excited.
I want to really
Okay.
bad. I'm just
Yeah,
jealous.
I'm super pumped. Like I've heard amazing things about this, so
I
ready to
can't help
go.
myself. I've been watching YouTube
Tommy guns and
videos and
vampires.
reviews.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sign me up, man. Which
Looks
I did
cool.
not know the whole vampire aspect from like the
Oh,
early trailers. No, from
You
the
weren't
early
supposed to.
trailers.
You weren't supposed
Yeah,
to.
okay.
but I mean,
Okay.
But then
so
if
many
you
people
go to
know
a
that.
movie, I forget which movie I saw in the theater, and they showed the extended trailer for Sinners, and I'm like, oh,
Yes, yeah,
hot, sweaty vampires and Tommy guns.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they were, I think, intentionally vague about like the threat attacking the nightclub in the first trailers, and then
Okay.
in the later ones. Now I figured that out.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
excited to
smart.
go tomorrow.
Very cool. I wish I could get to that one too. That would be fun. That'd be fun.
On a Wednesday? Huh.
Oh yeah, it's kind of random, but it's the night my parents have the kids because we usually have volleyball.
Oh, it's already out? Man,
Yeah.
I got to pay attention more.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's doing well at the box office as well. So
Yes.
yeah,
60
Good.
million in the opening weekend.
Yep.
great. Well, my sporting event was my boxing coach. His fight
Yeah.
was on Friday, and he won. So talk about like being
Yay!
excited. I
Nice.
was just like pins and needles watching that. So got to be a pretty late night. His fight was pretty late, but that was pretty great. So very excited there. And then on the Star Wars front, yeah, I've wrapped up a couple more Star Wars things. Tales of the Empire. It's just a 6-episode animated thing. They were doing this Tales of different series, and I hadn't heard as good of things about this one, but I still liked it. It's about characters that I haven't cared as much about. Kind of
Right.
it focuses on 2 different characters, a different season 2, but I thought it was well done, and I liked a little extra context for the one character, considering she's heavily featured in Ahsoka, which is the other series that I finished. So got through all 8 episodes of that. And I'd asked you, Pete, about it, like if I should give that one a go or what. And I think, yeah, I agree. It's like you look at it as a sequel to Rebels, and I enjoyed Rebels plenty enough, and so that's kind of what I got, And I think
Yeah.
that Rosario Dawson, I always thought she's good as Ahsoka. I think the
Mhm.
casting of the other characters is pretty spot on for
Yeah.
the most part, and they introduced some cool non-Jedi Force users, something, Lord
Yep.
Balin and she has a cool name. It's like a Japanese kind of name, but I liked both of them.
Mhm.
So I had a good time with it. It's pretty well shot. Some pretty good lightsaber battles, and
Absolutely.
there's some silly stuff in there, but it's right. If you just take it for what it is with Rebels, it's no sillier than that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward. I kind of like watching this later now because it's less time to season 2. Season 2 is next year, so there was a returning other cast member that was featured in this that was fun to see back. And to avoid spoilers, my main issue I think focuses around Sabine. but
Mm.
I won't go into extra detail with that, I guess.
I remember you talking about that before.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Mike and I, we talked about it some. So
Hmm.
she's Hera sitting there with this force sensitive son, and Ahsoka has to spend her time training the one that has a lick, no amount of force sensitivity. So it's a weird decision to
Hmm.
go that, and I don't even know where that came from. Like, this came, as far as I know, off camera between seasons. At some other point, Ahsoka is going to
Hmm.
train a Sabine in the ways of the Force for, I don't know why, and how that came about. That's very weird. She didn't really want to take an apprentice before, so then you take an apprentice that has zero force sensitivity and is older. I just don't understand what happened there. So, yeah. Anyways,
It
no, you got
could
something to
maybe
say?
you could maybe explain it away. That was probably for another podcast.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely do a podcast when season 2 comes out. Talk about the beginning of season 1, all that sort of thing. So that's mostly what I've been up to. And then Daredevil. So we might as well get into that. Daredevil Born Again. Again. So if we had
Again.
yeah, not plenty of people have made the joke, but it really is true. And in these last couple episodes, I felt it again. So Pete, why don't you catch us up on, before these last couple episodes, what had you been feeling going through this season?
When I was a kid, I would read Daredevil comics, and then you would see Daredevil on the cover, and then you would open the book and you would read and see Daredevil in action against a villain right here. And they would do martial arts moves, and that was really fun. And so as I grew up and they said, we're going to have a Daredevil show, I'm like, fantastic. I would love to see Daredevil in your Daredevil show. And what I got was so much Matt Murdock. Oh my God. If they would have called the show Law and Order MCU, maybe I wouldn't have been so upset, because that's what I got was Law and Order MCU and crime boss couples therapy. I don't need to see the Kingpin go into marriage counseling. I need to see the Kingpin kicking ass. And I absolutely used the line from Jurassic Park. Eventually, you are going to have Daredevil in your Daredevil show. He can't even get a cameo in his own show. The dad of Miss Marvel gets it more screen time than Daredevil in his Daredevil suit. And what really upsets me about that is when you see advertisements for Daredevil, you see the suit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that 28-second ad, Daredevil gets more screen time than 40-minute episodes of the show. That being said, Muse, when he showed up and fought Daredevil, that was what I wanted. That was comic book Daredevil, not Law and Order MCU, Matt Murdock, the series. Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, nonsense. Okay. So I would say out of the 9 episodes, they had 2 good ones. The first episode, the first 5-10 minutes when he fought Bullseye, I've seen cosplay Bullseye people who are better than the Bullseye outfit they had in this series. And then at the end of the fight, both of them are out of breath. They're gassed, trying to portray that they're human. I don't know, but that's not the Daredevil I wanted to see. I wanted to see superhuman athletic ability. He didn't need to be gasping for air. And then you go to the last episode, second to the last episode, and can we say what happened to him when he dove in front of Kingpin? Spoiler alert. Daredevil gets shot. Yeah. And he's in the hospital. But then he puts on a suit and he goes out and has a whole bunch of fights against bad cops. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. first he's like so exhausted after fighting for 10 minutes, but then he gets shot and he's fine. He can go kung fu fighting all night long. So 2 episodes were fantastic. The rest of them can go away.
Which were
And
your
that's
two?
my review of Daredevil. The 2 fights with Muse.
Okay.
So that would be like
middle episodes
6
there.
and 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Mike. We might as well just do our overall impressions here, and we got these okay, so we're talking episodes 8 and 9. Like, we didn't go through those specifically. We should say what is happening in this. We're getting the kind of like, where is Vanessa at for sure on this? You know, we've kind of been finding like where her loyalty is, what's she gonna do. She's like shown that Adam is alive, all that sort of thing. We have Kingpin further with his task force and kind of unveiling that yes, he plans still his criminal enterprise. Like, we're questioning throughout the season, is he really a changed man or not, sort of thing. I was. Right.
I knew it.
Yeah.
And we get Karen coming back. She asks Frank Punisher to help out, and when we have another ball that is interrupted again by Bullseye. So that was the thing that was really like, you can just feel how they were so planning to not have this be part of the Netflix things at all, because we have too much repeating. The whole, again, coming back. Do I want to be Daredevil again? And then the ball, which we just did in season 3.
I'm actually going to disagree about the ball, because I actually thought it was Kingpin trying to redo that and get it right this time instead of ending with his arrest.
Okay, but then it shouldn't be interrupted again. Like, because then it just...
Well, yeah. I mean, for us, the viewers, I agree.
Person.
Yes, for us, the viewers, I agree. But like at the initial outset, I wasn't as bothered. I was bothered when like Bullseye showed up. I agree with that. I just thought he was trying to, like, especially that he went out of his way to invite Heather. I thought it was like a dual, like, I have plans for Heather, plus I want to like show, Daredevil that I'm going to pull it off without a hitch this time without me getting arrested.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Like, that's, I agree with you. There's so many repeating things, but yeah, at the outset, I kind of thought maybe that was going to be different.
Sure. Okay, Mike, these last couple episodes, what do you think? It's kind of our
the last couple episodes make me not like the rest of the season, to be perfectly honest. So like I was
intrigued. What way?
They're so much better, and the tone is so much different, that this is like what the show should have been from the start. And we all knew that, right? But like, it is such a stark contrast, even just the way the camera angles are used, right? But also the story that they're telling, the visceralness of a bunch of it. Like, it's so much of a different show. It makes me hate episode 5 even more.
The bank.
Yep. Like, I know you guys like that. I hate it. I still that episode to me is like the epitome of the previous writers and showrunners that got fired. Like, it's the epitome. It's a pointless waste of time, pomp, and unnecessary cameos from other shows that nobody gives a flying fuck about. And then the last 2 episodes actually seem like they have a story. There, so many of the episodes 2 through 7, I couldn't care less what happened next. And it didn't seem like it mattered what happened next, because you're just going to find out. It was very episode of the week kind of style. 8 and 9 felt coherent, left me on a pseudo cliffhanger. I mean, yes, it's reminiscent of what we had in season 3, but the damn show is called the same thing. So we kind of knew that was going to happen. At least it was done better. I do giggle. I can't I can't help it but giggle every time Matt and Punisher are arguing about whether or not they should kill him. And then Daredevil's like, "Don't kill him!" Whack with a big ass metal pipe across someone's skull, and you hear their skull just like indent.
Thank
It's
you.
like, oh yeah, you're
Thank
doing
you.
a great
I was
job
like, how
there,
have you
buddy.
not killed someone? My God.
Yeah, they're super dead. Yeah. So I always giggle at that. And I always like it when Frank is just like calls him on it, because that feels funny. He's like, "Is this the one that's expendable?" And pop. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy the Punisher aspect of Daredevil more than I think I enjoy the Daredevil part. That was true previous seasons as well. So, but overall, I like the last 2 episodes. Can Heather die yet? Now that
ready.
Deborah Ann Wool's back, can she die?
Ready.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even care about her betrayal or like the dissolution of their relationship as much as I care about like her flat acting. I am dead. Like there is nothing happening. Every line is delivered in like the exact same cadence, exact same measure. Like even when she's like angry or panicked, it sounds the same.
Yeah,
because she's a measured therapist. She understands to regulate her emotions perfectly.
She is not, especially when she was walking around and she was like oversimplifying her whole, kidnapping by Muse. She was just like, "Oh hey, like I did stuff and they're terrible." Like it was such a simplification of a very complex situation, and obviously she's processing and it was very traumatic, but also I was just like, wow. Like you kind of feel like a terrible therapist.
How good did it feel when Matt Murdock woke up in the hospital bed and was like, "Karen?
Karen?" Yeah. Yep. I actually enjoyed when they were at the ball and she was talking and she was like, "You're checking out on me," and he was literally checking out on her as she was like, "You're checking out on." And then he
She's a good therapist.
She just kept doing it. Like he was just still listening. Like, "Yeah, I'm checking out. Yeah, I'm gonna do that." Oh my God, yeah.
Well, so with that's a tough thing with keeping secrets, obviously, because it's one of those things. I do get frustrated in shows sometimes when it's like there's people that are not understanding that lives are on the line. It's like the family life or the something or whatever, but it's like people will die. I'm watching Mobland. It's like that. It's like, do you understand people will die? Our family will probably die if I don't miss this appointment you'd like me to be at. Like whatever. Like this is more important, So, but that's what happens to keep secrets. So
I think I have dual irritation because yes, as an audience member, it is the "Oh, if you only knew," with the Daredevil stuff, but she's not very understanding about the stuff she should know about, like Matt Murdock's experience with putting Fisk away. Do you know what I mean? Like she seems clearly to just separate that wholly, which I understand while she is working and she is Fisk's therapist, she would have to do. But in her real life, she should be a little bit more yeah, this was a traumatic thing that you went through and he, got put away on some pretty serious charges. So maybe I can give a little bit more grace here with your, you know what I mean? I think there should be a little bit more grace in the actual known background of these two.
Sure. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there's one thing I want to say with Mike. You're saying you're more interested in the Punisher things. I think, and that happened before. I think that's because part of maybe what Pete's looking for as well is I'm tired. Frank isn't conflicted in who he is or what he aims to do.
Right.
And I'm tired of it in Daredevil because we got, I totally am fine with having that argument and that internal crisis, but it can only go on so long. And then we want to see our superhero be our superhero. It's a problem I see with Batman sometimes. It's like everybody that starts anew has to have him go through the trauma again. And then it makes it feel like he's never over it. He's never moves on. And that's just it's not, I don't think realistic. And it's also not,
it's not entertaining.
It's not entertaining. No. We want to
Mhm.
see our superhero be like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is why I'm doing it and feel good
Mhm.
about doing it. And we only need to see so much, I think, of like, well, but it's ruining your life. It's ruining everyone's
Yeah.
life around you. You know, like that can only go on so long and you
Mhm.
can still
Mhm.
have fun.
I mean, the Punisher has never moved on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
his trauma is ever under the surface.
Right.
And they but he's not struggling with should I, shouldn't I, right?
Right.
So you can
Right.
do the trauma thing and let that be there without
Yeah.
it having to be, this on again, off again,
Mhm.
should I be this hero or not kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Frank has struggles, but they seem, more confined or more momentary, because obviously in these last two episodes when he's with Karen and she's like, I don't believe you don't care, and you did the thing, and obviously he was like a little like, oh, that kind of conflicts with like my image of I don't care, and I'm kind of like staying out of events and things, but like it was very understandable size struggles. It wasn't like drawn out things. He struggled with them for a few moments, or he struggled with them through a conversation with Matt earlier in the season. They were very limited, so we weren't treated to this, almost 9 episode arc of should I, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you still need conflict. You need issues.
Right, exactly.
It's
But
just
it's
the
but it's
central core
manageable.
of your character. We gotta,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, I liked Punisher being back in this, but it was one of my
Mhm.
bigger problems with these last couple episodes because I did not buy Frank Castle marching into this place
Yeah.
unprepared like this. I'm just gonna walk up
Yeah, I agree.
wherever and just
Yeah.
start swinging and shooting. It's like, no, he would have that place staked out. Start with sniper, plant some explosives. He's gonna
Right.
come
More
armed to the teeth.
plans.
He's
More
not
plans.
like that. He was walking in it like he had nothing to lose. We
Yeah.
built a season
Yep.
where he is like reckless abandon because who cares if I die? And I, that
Yeah.
made no sense. And then it also felt like the writers didn't know what they want. They didn't know themselves what they wanted to have him say to the wannabe Punishers
Yeah.
because all Frank could muster was, "You guys are clowns. You guys are the clowns." He said that a couple times. It's like, here's the time to hear like why you're clowns.
Mhm.
Why what I do is different than what you're
Oh
doing.
yeah.
And I don't think the writers know themselves. I think
Yeah.
they're like they don't really. So I don't know. It was weird. And then to cap it all off at the end, they make like Bozo the guard. Oh, it's an honor to
Yeah.
meet you. And
Shake
The
my
rookiest
hand.
of all
what?
rookies. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so that just like because you're right, Mike. The tone changed. It felt more like maybe we have a direction here and all this sort of thing.
Mhm.
But then it was cumbersome, you know, not thought out writing situations here. And the same is like
Mhm.
you say, Pete, like we got to be consistent with Daredevil's abilities here. Is he gassed after one fight, or can he take a bullet and still go out on the streets?
Right.
Well, but he wasn't though. Like he made it back to his apartment and he did have a fight with the cops, but then he went and tried to stake out Red Hook and he could like barely move.
Yeah, he
You
got
know,
called
do you
back
know what I
in
mean?
here, and it's like, okay, there's an army there, and I can't take on the army.
Well, yeah, but he
Like
was
the
like
whole
struggling getting over like a like fallen cement block. You know what I mean? He's like trying. It's like yeah, like I'm gonna go get him, and he's like literally trying to step over a cement block, and he could barely even do it.
well, we can say that's
Mhm.
like accrued damage from the fight before, whilst having a fresh gunshot
Right,
wound.
but I'm just saying,
Genetically.
like he clearly has limitations. Like
Yeah,
they're
where
not
are they?
super consistent. But I
Yeah,
mean, people don't have super clear limitations. Like he was fighting for his life up in his apartment and just spiking that adrenaline, probably on some pain meds, can't really super feel, how injured he is getting. And then suddenly his body was like, Jesus, dude, you got shot, you got catapulted yourself out of a exploding apartment building, after fighting a bunch of cops. Like, you're done. You're done. Which that
Uh,
fight was awesome, by the way. That was so much fun between Daredevil and Punisher.
yeah.
Having their like back and forth coming back, just being like, "What up, Red?" Just got chills. I loved seeing that relationship back. I agree. Punisher walking into that warehouse later was, ill-conceived and out of character, but that showing up at the apartment and being like, there's all this around you. I got this staked out. That was better.
Yep. Mike, you were going to say something before?
Sorry.
I think Pete was going to say something.
I thought Andrew was going to say something.
John, were you going to say something?
There we go.
I always have something to say if it's on me. Yeah.
Did you talk at all about White Tiger's amazing introduction into the MCU?
His immediate introduction and then death.
If we go back to a sports reference, it was like the 2023 season highlights of Aaron Rodgers for the Jets. Somebody on YouTube put up Aaron Rodgers highlight package, and it's Aaron Rodgers running onto the field with the Jets flag and handing off the ball, and then wrecking his leg. Yeah, so there. He got Aaron Rodgers is what happened. And
super true. But he didn't deserve it. Aaron Rodgers deserved it.
Correct. And that's why I was so upset. Like, you could have set up Muse so much better if Daredevil says, I'm not going to fight anymore. And then Muse is out killing people. And we know White Tiger's out there stepping up to be in the absence of Daredevil. And they have a fight and Muse gets away. Now Muse looks cool and White Tiger looks cool. And then White Tiger gets out of the courtroom and ready to go back after Muse. And then he gets clipped. I would still be upset, but I would be satisfied. Well, at least we got one cool fight with White Tiger.
Yeah.
No. He's the clown, John. Not the wannabe Punishers. He's the clown.
Muse was criminally underrepresented as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I dug into that character
super creepy, and then what a letdown.
Yes.
His intro was so creepy. Was so creepy. The murals were super creepy. All of that. The fights were awesome, and then flat. It just fell flat.
They had to do a one and done, man. Let's let him escape. Let him come back. He's cool. Exactly. We want to see him again.
Exactly.
Nope. They went with Apocalypse, right? In the X-Men movies. He's like an all-time bad guy, and he looks terrible, and then he dies.
Yeah.
Well, you had to have girl boss moment for Heather.
Good grief.
I saved myself.
Right.
Dying.
You know what?
Eating out.
Daredevil took a bullet and came back and fought a whole horde of cops, right?
Yeah.
Tripped over a stone block, right? But, she could have winged him, right? He's supposed to be an inhuman, so
right.
I don't know.
You can't this is what is a little bit difficult with the show. You can't have too many injuries that should kill you and don't. Because I was thinking, they could have still shot him, but he lives. But there have been so many times when Bullseye gets something that I'm certain is going to kill him and he's fine. Oh my God, how? Or I don't know, even Adam getting a beating from Fisk sometimes, and he just gets thrown skull first into a stone wall, Kingpin, and he still is I'm up.
That was a great fight.
Commissioner comeback.
No, seriously, I would buy it at this point because they do have a killing problem. Somebody does need to probably stay dead. And it's not just the cops that Frank brutally takes down.
Or Kingpin.
But yeah, it's just or Kingpin. But yeah. Somebody needs to have some permanency. I just feel like it's the wrong people.
Yeah. I think
still angry about Foggy.
Pardon me.
Is he dead?
Oh God.
Go ahead, Mike.
The issue with the Punisher acting out of character, right? This is a guy who he beat Wolverine, right? Temporarily, right? he did so by planning how he was going to, take him out and then run him over with a steamroller. He beat the Hulk by feeding Bruce Banner like explosives
Right.
without him realizing it and knowing it, so that when he did become
I forgot about
Hulk,
that.
right? Like there's planning to him. He's a regular
Yeah.
person that fights, top tier superhero beings. So this idea of him just walking in is super
Oh, yeah.
stupid. And I give you
Yeah.
that. But also, I think it's a product of them having 2 episodes, right, to tell a coherent story. They show
Sure.
in other
When
ways
they could have
that
had
they're
more.
yeah, right. Like they had such a compressed timeline to do this whole thing. And I feel like the goal was for Frank to end up on the inside, right, and take down Red Hook from the inside. So to do that, he has to get captured. But how do you show that big long setup when you have these other 2 stories to wrap
Mhm.
up, right?
Mhm.
In the one episode, really. So you don't give them enough time. I mean,
Mhm.
but the concept is there. And so I
Mhm.
think that'll play out better
Mhm.
for season 2 or for the Punisher, independent movie or whatever is actually
Mhm.
happening with him. So I'll give him a little bit of a pass on
Mhm.
that one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see season 2 because this will be, the season 2 that isn't trying to meld old footage with new. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my mind around some of that, and like I would love to know what cost-cutting decision felt worth it to save the footage and what it was and how extensive it is. And even if it was like super choppy in the beginning and maybe it got smoother as the season went on, I still want to know like kind of how much they had to juggle that throughout the whole first season and how
Yeah,
how much, we can blame that decision versus, maybe some writing or other production shortfalls in general.
yeah. I mean, think how hard that would be to come in and like be presented with a pile of shit, and then be told, "Hey, you get 2.5 episodes to fix all this
Right.
and make it coherent." You're like, "What the shit?" Like, that's a
Right.
monumental task, and they sort of pulled it off. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of crap that doesn't seem to matter, but I thought
Right.
the last
There's
ones,
glimmers.
yeah, yeah. You got the intrigue with, um, we thought that the press secretary or whatever she is, right,
Sheila,
was
yeah.
going to, yeah, we thought she was going to turn on Fisk, and then the fear has her flip on the police commissioner.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's really cool. I dig that. Um, I don't know. You still have what, BB or whatever, who's trying to
BB,
blame on
yeah.
the inside.
Mhm.
So
I'm conflicted because, we know about the internal strife of creating this show. And so it is easier for me to like give them some passes. But the normal audience member is going to have zero idea about any of that stuff. They're going to
Yeah.
watch the show and they're going to see it looks like a cobbled together mess that's inconsistent and like kills off characters quickly that could have been something and whatever. And they're going to not come back for season 2 or season
nah,
5, you know, because I
Maybe.
don't know would I have come back if this was the first thing of Daredevil I'd ever seen and I had no knowledge of anything behind the scenes on it. I don't know. There's a lot to watch. Maybe, you
Mhm.
know, I, I will come back for the next season now because I know, well, they have a goal and a clear vision, a what path forward or whatever, and see
Mhm.
what they can make of it. But even the things I thought maybe they would deliver on, kind of to Pete's point, I thought, well, maybe with Marvel doing it, MCU,
Right.
they're not going to be afraid of like upping Daredevil's proficiency, because I didn't really see it, but I saw the clips of like, and it's again very heavily CGified, but him and She-Hulk and stuff like that jumping around and stuff like that, because Daredevil is a very he, again, another superhero that goes toe to toe with all kinds of uber powered people. I thought for sure we get the amplified version of the character, but again, we have to, like, it's too street level. He should have. I've said it before in previous episodes. You have no issues with fighting one on one some single just dude. You know, like that's
one bad cop. Daredevil struggled to fight the cop in the bank scene, right?
Yeah, the guy that got out of the bank, the robber, and they're in the alleyway is a cool fight, but between two regular dudes.
Yeah, by
like
Daredevil
no martial arts
and a cop.
or whatever, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Except at the end.
Well,
at the very
he
end,
jumped on his knee or whatever, broke his knee.
Ugh,
You know,
so good.
Yeah, that's cool, but
regular Joe Schmo is not going to know how to do that. That's all I'm saying.
It doesn't. It just he is. You know, he's the guy. Like, you get his internal monologue when he's like running, and he can tell someone. I remember I think this is probably Born Again or whatever. It's in the comic. It was, and he can tell someone's gaining on him, and he can recognize by the pace and the heartbeat that it's Captain America. And he's going through his head, like, knowing how much faster and stronger Captain America is than he is. But he can still get the edge because he's aware of this. He has the reflexes and the 360 degree awareness and everything like that. And that's
he's the man
cool.
with no fear.
Right. Exactly. That's Captain America, you know, not some dude. And so, like, again, season 1 on Netflix, I understand. He's learning his powers. He's getting there. But they needed to build that faster, even in the Netflix series, and didn't. You know, and then they took his powers away almost, you know, and had to build up again. So I'm like, okay, finally now in the Disney one, we'll at least get that. He'll at least be a superhero. And he wasn't that again either. He was almost getting hit by cars.
You got a couple scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Muse fights were good.
The Muse fights were great.
Yeah, Muse fight was good, but Muse should have been the bad guy in the whole season. If we were planning the thing out, this should have been these basically. You know, we have Kingpin working in the background. He becomes the mayor. We have all that. So you're right. That's building to season 2's problem.
The B story, right?
Yes, but the imminent threat is Muse, and I like your idea, Pete, of having White Tiger out there dealing with him, and Daredevil sitting there like, I could be doing something. He keeps missing. He keeps not. You know, we have the swordsman in this a little bit, not being the swordsman, but like he's in there, you know, as his regular self. And
we saw somebody's like TikTok of the swordsman.
Yeah, right. So we could have had multiple heroes in there trying to deal with this guy, and that's the thing that brings Daredevil. You know, and then we still could have had White Tiger's niece be the one going to look for her uncle. And that's what brings ultimately Daredevil out of the shadows to do, and then finds the whole thing and whatever, because still done that, you know. And you could have done therapy sessions with this guy that we don't realize is Muse throughout the season. If you wanted to delve into him a little bit,
replace the Fisk and Vanessa therapy sessions.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Get rid of that completely, because it did us no good to waste time on that. Like, I really didn't like them fighting. I always liked how weirdly committed she was to him, and then finding out that she's okay with this sort of thing. I don't know.
I like that they were fighting, but I could have used not therapy to just have them get over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I still was interested in the conflict. Maybe didn't betray him. Like, she loved the power of running things. Like, is she going to flip on him with Luca? All of that could have still happened, but then, like, they just worked it out. You know what I mean? I didn't need to have them go to therapy. I would have just accepted that, you know, she was just like, F it, we're together and I love you and I'm just going to get past this. I'm going to kill Adam. And apparently she's like also a sharpshooter, just like Buck. Everybody in the show shoots like, I don't know. But anyway, all of that, I'm just saying, could have happened in the background, and I would have made space for Muse being the one in therapy. That would have been way more interesting.
Yep. And then obviously we went back. We shouldn't have had Foggy die. There's no reason really to have that. Bullseye could have sat out. Bullseye could have sat out
like
for
a
a whole
crushing
season.
scene. It was a crushing scene. Like they acted the hell out of it.
I didn't but for me, the whole first episode, I just didn't. It wasn't landing for me. So.
Oh, it did for me. It did for me.
I still don't understand why though. Like
I agree with that. I'm not saying like I wanted it to happen because I'm still mad. Justice for Foggy. I'm just saying like the scene, because it happened, they acted it well.
I think they acted it well. I agree with you. I do.
But doesn't mean you liked it.
No, I did not. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, and so okay,
super pissed.
You got episode 1, 8, and 9 that are the rewrites. I don't understand how episode 1 like necessarily sets up 8 and 9, other than you've got
Karen had to go away because they had a whole bunch of footage without her.
But you could do that in a plethora of ways, and you could do the same thing with Foggy, right? You can tell that story in a different way. The only thing that I see that it actually sets up is, why is Bullseye trying to kill Fisk in the ball again, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all it does.
Yeah, I was really interested, and then it fell flat for me. I was really more interested in like maybe teasing out a little bit longer who he was going to kill, because I was sort of like, is he really going to kill Fisk? Maybe he will kill Vanessa, or maybe he'll try to kill Matt. Like twist, like I was sort of more interested in like, having his gun maybe float around to a couple different people and be like, I don't know, I could kill all of them. He was not in a great mental space. Obviously.
He should have been trying to, this is Bullseye. He should have been trying to ricochet this shit off Matt, Vanessa, and Fisk. Like, pop, 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 right? Magic bullet style. This is Bullseye. He's not just going to be like...
His escape was great.
Shot.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah. I agree. I hadn't thought about that because I was so interested in like, I was really wishing you would play out more like, who do I want? But it would have been interesting to see him try to just be like, everybody. F it. I'll try for everybody.
Yeah.
He's got more than one bullet, right?
Right.
You would think.
I also kind of didn't love that Matt jumped in front of Fisk. It was like a weird, and then everybody asked him about it, and we're like, "Why did you do it? Why did you do it?" And like then they stopped addressing it.
Instinctual, yeah.
I know, but everybody was like, "Why did you do it?" And he was just like, or like they would conveniently have something happen, and he didn't have to answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of what he talked about with Bullseye in prison, right? It was the hero,
even your worst enemy.
Exactly.
Ugh, I hated that line.
What?
I hated it.
I agreed.
It's all cheap.
It's one of those where like, oh, wisdom. No, fuck that guy.
No.
From the absolute.
No. Oh god.
Yeah.
That whole scene, and he was just trying to be like, you don't know what like the jungle is in here. I'm like, I do not care about your metaphors and your weird like sidestepping. Just like say the thing you want and shut up. I don't need the like, sidestepping, like drawing out the conversation. And I didn't need like, oh, that's what the good guys do, is defend their worst enemies. Like, no, that's never been what good guys do. Like the onus is not on a good guy to defend his worst enemy. Yeah, didn't appreciate that.
Okay, well, sounds like glowing reviews for season.
I know. There were glimmers, like I said earlier. There were glimmers of things that were really cool that, by God, if season 2 doesn't build on, we burn it down.
Yeah, I mean, I'll like to see it.
Is it just going to be the Defenders again?
The Defenders?
No, I don't think so.
We're just going to run it back.
The one guy's in prison. The White Tiger's dead. Who are we gonna,
Yeah.
Who are we gonna? I guess we're gonna bring Iron Fist back and all that.
Yeah, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Elektra.
I don't think so.
Glory days.
Every time this show brings on somebody else, they're dead or or they're off screen. So no, I don't think this is like an ensemble intention here.
All right. Well, hopefully they get it right in season 2.
Yeah.
Less Law and Order MCU, more actual
Agreed.
comic book Daredevil. It's going to look like this.
And an animated short series, Law and Order MCU, that was like comedy focused would be funny.
Yes.
She-Hulk and
The Harvey
Daredevil.
Birdman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did miniseries, 8 to 16-minute episodes. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
Or less. Yeah.
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 Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. If you let us know in the comments if you are also kind of in line with some of our thoughts, or if it was, as I saw some people say, peak television. So I don't know. You tell us.
Watch
But
more
like, share,
television,
subscribe.
that's what you think.
Is it because you only got a peek at Daredevil?
Boom. There it is.
That was good. That was good.
Where's the
faces.
sound thing? I never use the sound thing on here. Where's the
There it is.
There it is. Okay. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe in all the places. We're on podcast directories, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, that type of thing. YouTube, wherever you want. We're live right now on YouTube, X, and Twitch, so you can follow us in those places. Popcast on the Rocks. Again, make sure to check out Mike's racing content on Instagram and YouTube, and check out Pete's work at Peter J. Gilbertson. You can find his books on Amazon. So, and then Killing the Flower, they wrote our theme song. Their music is on music streaming services, so check them out. And that'll be about it from us. Eagle-eyed viewers maybe saw our Ohio anime logo on my boxing coach's shirt as he walked out. Maybe.
Awesome.
So that's the other channel. Stay tuned. We'll be. I'm going to have to talk about Andor. That's coming out. I'm going to have to talk about it. Pete,
Thunderbolts,
Mike. Dustin wants to talk about it. Whoever, let's go. Thunderbolts, I don't know if I'm going to get to it. It's like we're going to be getting in the field really soon, but it does look interesting. It does look more of all the Marvel things that have come out in a long time for movies. That one's the one that looks more interesting to me. So, yeah.
I will keep you posted.
Okay. All right. And Andrea's going to keep us posted on Sinners. And,
yeah. Mike, if you go see it, we'll talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to find time.
Okay. Thank you all, and we'll see you right next time.
Sounds good. Cheers, everybody.